G'day, day 24. Here we are, Cebriero, 1,290 meters above sea level. We have climbed about 800 meters since Villafranca. Of course, we've done it over 2 days. I'm actually standing in front of Pelosa. Now, this building here was built over 2,000 years ago. These were the homes of the local people before even the Romans came. They are a single room divided into parts for animals and for the human family. In there, they cured the meat, they did all kinds of, made the cheeses. You might note the walls are quite low and the roofs, thatched roofs, are very high. They're made in such a way the walls are very thick. Right now it is 8 degrees and freezing up here at Cebriero. So they had to really withstand the cold, and they built them in such a way. But isn't it marvelous? 2,000 plus years later, these are still standing and here as a testimony to the history of the local area. Now, Cebriero is famous for something else as well. As a matter of fact, Cebriero really is the home of the modern Camino de Santiago. Way back, there was a miracle that took place here in the 13th century where the weather was just foul, and a man who was just devoted to the Eucharist made his way to the church, which itself is built in the 9th to the 10th century. So the church here, a wonderful old stone building with the most superb crucifix inside it, and a very simple church again. Anyway, the man made his way, Juan made his way up to Mass on this particular day, and the priest, the monk, who was going there to celebrate the Mass, really didn't think on such a sleeting, snowing, cold, freezing day anybody would turn up, but Juan did. And when he turned up, the priest actually despised him and actually told him off. You just came here in order to have a look at the host. And he then went ahead and celebrated Mass with a real bee in his bonnet, shall we say, just a despising of Juan. Well, what happened, if my phone, was that as he said the Mass and celebrated the Eucharist, the bread, the wafer, the bread, turned into the flesh of Jesus. And in the chalice, the wine turned into the blood of Jesus. This is a miracle that has been attested by many people. Let me read to you a historian's account here, who wrote, this is Fray Antonio. Then it was that the Lord, who works his wonders in the depth of the earth and in the hidden places of the world, so revealed his glory in that church, that transforming the host into flesh and the wine into blood, he opened the eyes of that miserable minister who had doubted and rewarded such great devotion as that good man had shown in coming to hear Mass with so many discomforts. It's also held that the statue of the Virgin that was in the church actually turned and knelt. She bowed her head and knelt because of the manifestation of the blood and the flesh of Jesus. And the statue of the Virgin is still in that particular place. Now, this miracle was attested throughout the area, and certainly back into France and Europe, and it was a way where many people came through Cebriero to make their way down to Santiago de Compostela. Now, there's another bit of miracle this, because in some 100 years later, Queen Isabella and her king, whose name escapes me right now, came here on a pilgrimage themselves to see the miracle. And Queen Isabella just felt that this wonderful chalice and bread should not be in such a out-of-the-way village. And she actually took them and started down the hill with the bread and the wine, and going down the hill, the horses just froze and refused to move. Queen Isabella realized that this sacred sacrament had to remain here at Cebriero, where it is today. She brought it back, and so that's just something of the history of Cebriero. Now, back in 1963, the local parish priest here, 62 it was, the local parish priest here just had a real burden to see the Camino to Santiago just to be revived, like pilgrims hadn't come for centuries, really. And he just wanted to see this revived. So he and some others met together. They recognized, wow, what we need to do is to have a sign. We'll make a yellow arrow and replete with cans of paint and whatever else. He organized for people all over Spain on the Camino route to put the arrows, the yellow arrows, in direction of the Camino, so that pilgrims could come again and follow their way down to Santiago. So here we are, standing in Cebriero, this tiny town, as it were, with these historic houses in, but really the genesis of the modern Camino, with the priest who recommissioned it all, came up with the idea of the yellow arrow, and indeed had the whole route signified with the yellow arrow. So this is really where we are standing now, cold as it is, freezing as it is. It's been worth it climbing the mountain to come to the very modern genesis of the Camino. That's really what I have to share today. It was a wonderful walk up. We came from Valcarce and came up the mountain today. Took about 3.5 hours and was a steady climb, but here we are. The 7th Ignatian exercise, or 6th I think it is, the 6th Ignatian exercise is again in the time of desolation. When you're in a time of desolation, recognize that Jesus abounds with grace. He abounds with grace, and to call out for his grace. And then our meditation today was on the washing of the disciples' feet. Peter said, "You're not going to wash my feet," and Jesus said, "Unless I wash your feet, you will not be clean." Well, then, wash my whole being, he said, with his impetuosity, but that whole sense of Jesus, the servant king, kneeling and washing our feet. And he says, indeed, if I, your Lord, have done this for you, you ought also do it for one another. So that's the thing I'll leave you with to think about, to meditate on now. How and whose feet can you wash? Figuratively, of course, or maybe quite, there may be somebody who needs their feet washed. But how can you serve another? Humble yourself. If by your Lord and Master do this for you, how much more should you do this for one another? God bless you.